which will help understand the crisis and also bring solutions, for all the participants to learn from those different solutions and experience, on a global interest. So it was a wonderful time for us to have it. And, progressively, we understood that it is important not only to provide solutions, okay, or bring ideas together, but it's also important to take some concrete actions. And that's the reason why we decided to found, Amistad as an organization. And we are happy to be organizing today the fifth discussion, and which title is, which topic is spirituality and society. So, like I said, we have fabulous, panelists, including, people from Africa, Europe, and America. But we will have our moderator, principal, and the main moderator today will be Jimenez. Jimenez is a pastor originally, and he has a full understanding of this topic as well, and he will be the one conducting as moderator this discussion. So that being said, as the moderator has the whole plan of the discussion, I will give him, the floor with no transition. Jimenez.
Okay, thank you very much, Musa, and thank you all for being here. You're welcome. It's an honor for me to be such an opportunity to be the co-moderator with Musa. The first thing I just did was to share with us a season card from Coach Samuel. So he had a request for me to share with every one of us Amistad card, as he put it. So just to say hello to everybody and to wish everyone season greetings. That's from Coach Samuel. So first of all, I also like to thank Helge for such a wonderful topic. And I know having such a topic sometimes can be controversial, because right here on the panelists, we have people from different backgrounds, different religious background, let me put it that way. So sometimes discussions like this can bring us different perspective of our own beliefs relating to how others see things or in the society. So it's a good topic, by the way, and it's going to help each and every one of us, I myself included, so that we might learn some things about how spirituality affects the society, either positive or negative. So I don't want to take much of our time because we have a very strict time to follow. And I would just like to, first of all, I'm sure I've already been introduced, but it will be necessary for the panelists to introduce themselves again for some of us who are just joining us. For I myself, I'm Jimenez. Like Musa said, I'm a pastor by calling. I'm also a social media manager with the department at the US Embassy here in Cameroon. So and there's always the notion that pastors don't work. We just believe that there should be offerings for us to eat, but that's not the case. So that's not the case, and we want to thank for that privilege. And it's an honor for me to be on this panel with Coach Samuel. He's the one that introduced me to Amistad. He has been a father to me from the day I knew him at the embassy in Cameroon, and we have been together ever since, and it's divine direction. So I just want to thank God for that. So without any further ado, I'm going to ask Coach Samuel to please start the discussion for us. It's an honor for us to have him.
Or maybe Jimenez, we just introduce, the panelists introduce themselves, and as we are not numerous, participants can just, say their name, okay, and the country, okay, they are from.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jimenez. Greetings to all of you. I've sent you a greeting card for the new year. Our success is an aggregate of each one of us contributing to that objective. And I am very happy to be on this panel today. Thanks again to Helge and all of you for putting this conference call with this topic, spirituality and the society. Ladies and gentlemen, I really want us to try and use critical thinking skills to understand and appreciate this topic, because it is vital and a part of every living thing on earth, no matter where you are. So on that note, I know it's about 10 minutes after 9. I have about 10 minutes. I will try to be time conscious. Spirituality is a mood that life is perceived and has a capacity to divide life and living. It helps us to free us of our ego, that is, the tendency for us to edge a creation out of the equation. But you cannot edge that spirituality in our overall life. But we have to be very critical as we interact and as we understand and as we appreciate and try to practice that spirituality. Spirituality provides a new reality to life. Once you understand it, once you appreciate it, it gives you new reality to life. For example, if you've never been in love, you will not really understand what love is, because love is an ocean of emotion, and not everybody gets at that point to sense that emotion. And that emotion can lead you to the extreme sometimes, and sometimes it can confine you. So the care of oneself and others without ego, that selfish aspect, would really help you to appreciate spirituality. Spirituality enhances the selflessness to be like the creator. You won't be too egotistical, you won't be too pompous, you won't be selfish like some people tend to be, because the moment you start looking at yourself as the all-go-getter, the tendency for you to create confusion and disruption in the society. Everything is connected as far as spirituality is concerned. The earth is connected to the living things in it. Everything is interrelated. I am because we are creatures of the same spirit. That is the same spirit, one spirit that created all of us. Everything is connected, but a lot of people do not get it and do not practice the concept of the interconnectedness and interrelationship that we have. The heartbeat, for example, a lot of people don't really think of how come my heart rate beats, or how come my brain, when my brain dies, then they pronounce me dead. How come when you just touch an object, the tip of one of your toes touches the doorsteps or a stone, it hurts. In as much as your toe is so small, when it hurts, the whole body feels it. That's, in a nutshell, my concept or my understanding of spirituality. Society, on the other hand, is the aggregate of people living together in a less ordered community or nation state. It is also an organization or social group formed like a club or association for a particular purpose, like the Amistad. The types of society in human growth and development has been hunting and gathering, for example. Some others were horticultural, others were pastoral, agricultural, others are industrial, and some of them are now highly technological, which most of us are claiming to be. But let us don't forget that when division of labor occurs, there will be a variety of societies. Pre-industrial societies are less complex than current industrial societies. In spirituality, the creator usually is referred to as the Alpha and Omega. That is the beginning and the end. And no matter what concept you believe in, or no matter what you extract from spirituality, there is always a beginning and an end, even in life. That is why when somebody dies, or a member dies, or a thing that you love dies, some people really get emotional about it and they respond in different ways. That is why we think, at least the Christians and some of the others believe that they always say RIP, rest in peace, at the end of your journey. If each of us spends some time to study and concentrate and explore spirituality, for example, I strongly believe that we will experience diverse revelations of its positive impacts on our life and death options. Some of the key religious reflections of spirituality which can help society members cultivate and maintain the ideas of equity, love, peace, justice, and prosperity must be grounded with faith in one and only creator. Because, I mean, it will be very difficult if you have different types of spiritual beings that created you. But because of that uniformity of life itself, you find out that there is something really positive if you can look at spirituality in a way to involve everybody, to respect everybody, to be of some help to some other person. I put a video there just so that you can visualize how spirituality and society can really function. Whether you are in Africa or Europe or America or Asia, there is really good time for us to support each other. There is an interrelatedness. There is something you have that I don't have. And there are some energies you can exert that can help solve my problem as well as your problem. Maybe we are having some technical problems, but maybe at your own time, since my time is almost up, I have 2 more minutes. We will look at that. If you can spend time to look at that, I think you will have a better understanding of what the interrelatedness I'm talking about. A spiritual being anywhere in the world, whether it's in Africa, South America, Asia, God is truly a spirit, and everyone will truly benefit from God if we worship God in truth and as well as in spirit. I think I'll close by saying that if you review the forgiving earthly Father who forgave his son in Luke chapter 15, verse 20 and 24, and learn some of the spiritual lessons like there can be dissatisfaction in the present. There are times you see you find yourself really confused, but there can be desire to move elsewhere or make a different decision. We've seen a lot of people die trying to go to Mediterranean, to Europe, and people die. But those are desires pushing them to move out. And there can be real movement of or change of the environment seeking greener pastures. There may be the delight in the newness without objective and strategic plan. Let us plan better. Let us strategically plan better. But you also find out that when you go to a place, you can be disillusioned. And with spirituality, a loving father or mother will be ready. Okay? So in a nutshell, let's use spirituality to make more positive impact on our society. Thank you very much. If there are questions later on, when you read the document, we can continue the conversation. Thank you.
Okay, for the guy in Galicia, then way about this.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach Samuel. And it was such a wonderful presentation. I'm sure there's a video which you sent, which I would like to share it with everyone. It's just a few seconds. I hope you don't mind. It shows how the society reacts.
Oh, sorry for interrupting. Someone needs to turn off his microphone, as it looks like.
Okay, I think that was, is it Ahmed K?
I think it is solved. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just play the video. The quality might not be the best, but it just shows us how sometimes society, where you think or somebody can do something to you and you don't know the point where that person is coming from or the pain that person feels. And sometimes your reaction towards that person can only be meted if you don't understand where that person is coming from. But once you get to understand that person's pain, you realize that your reaction towards what that person did will be different. So let's just watch the video and then let's see. So that's it. Sometimes you don't judge a book by its cover. And thank you very much, Coach Samuel, for that video. And it looks so emotional. But that's the reality of our society. You don't help somebody because the person is your blood brother. So spirituality is something that we should all take into account. All human beings are very spiritual. No matter your background you're coming from, human beings are very spiritual. That was somebody who was very hungry and angry because his only meal that he had was taken from him. But when he saw another person's condition, he was able to tame his own hunger and instead spend for the person he saw. So that's such a touching story. And without any further ado, I think we can go over to following the program. We can go over to Thomas, which he can start by introducing himself, where he's from, and for everyone to get his own point of view. Thank you, Thomas.
I think I'm the only one with the name Thomas here. I'm not. I've been following this guy. That's let's see, Deepak Chopra, yeah. So this book came out about 20 years ago, and I've listened to the tape many times. It's How to Know God, and it's quite interesting. In this book, he does something somewhat methodical. He takes and he looks at this in 7 stages, 7 steps, 7 places that a human being can be at. None of them better than the other. It's quite nice, and it's on audio, and I think this book might be available online and all of that. I thought that was something that inspired me many years ago and is still good. And I like the way he chops it up and he looks at it many times from those perspectives. I've started to reread this book now. So that's he's gotten a lot of praise in the front of the book. He's got all kinds of people that you guys would recognize saying, this is a really good idea. So for me, everything is God and has been for some time. I think that video was really a really powerful thing to realize. And of course, in our country, in the U.S. right now, we are coping or dealing with, as the vernacular says, with what happened in Washington on Wednesday, right after this election that gave Mr. Biden control of basically government. There were two senators that then shifted power to the Democrats and Mr. Biden. So everything is fairly full sailing for him. And yet at the same time, the very next day, we have folks, and it looks like there's a good chunk of them in the United States who just are feeling really upset. And they're like the man without the arms, they don't know how to get things. And in the book, he has those folks there. He's not addressing them specifically, but they are definitely in the book. They are in one of these groups. You could see that. And when I read these 7 different categories, and they're repeated several times because you can look at, or he looks at rather, like the God of miracles, the God of various aspects. So I always include those folks. And I have a friend, she's a reverend. She became a reverend not too long ago, and she was inspired to write something, and she put it on her Facebook page, and she read it to me yesterday. And that was inclusive of those folks too. And I could hear that when she read it right away. So other people have been very troubled. Somebody wrote some poetry, and that was read on the television, but it wasn't so inclusive. So I think in a way, those events have got us thinking. And when we think, we've got to understand to include people who are, what we call disenfranchised, often go to their, lower chakras, they say, the sex and food chakra, survival chakra. That's one of the first one. And they're just looking for survival, basically. And they're into fear and that ego and all of that. So I don't know that I want to really go into anything here, but the idea of knowing God is like, wow, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to know God, I don't really want to take up time. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. But I would say that there are things written, and those things that are written, there's some lovely, lovely things written. I like the guy Eckhart Tolle, for instance, and there's a gentleman from Vietnam who I have some of his books, and you hear these names again and again. They come around, and I don't know right now at this moment, but maybe you guys can tell me some nice African stuff. One of the things that I heard that I think Chopra says in another of his books, tapes, that not everybody has all wisdom. This is something from Africa. So somebody or God had wisdom, and it was in a bag and it's scattered. I don't remember this exactly. And it went all over. And people ran around and they collected that from a village. And I don't remember this exactly. I could look it up. But some people don't have much wisdom because they didn't find much of this wisdom that was scattered. And other people have more. So to me, none of that really matters. Nothing that we do really matters. We can just sit back and watch. We can participate as much as we like. We don't have to be nice. We don't have to do anything, or we can do quite a lot. So our journey is personal, and we can see the suffering around us. We can see the lack of education around us. We can get involved. But there's no obligation. There's no like, oh, you're going to go to hell, or you will be punished, or there will be retribution. You can, I don't know, maybe there's reincarnation. I think it's all a family. So we need to always be in a place of being forgiving and giving patience to people. Um, I thought of this many years ago that each one of us would be given an entire earth to ruin because God, in a sense, loves us so much. Each one of us, to me, is a being, a reproductive unit of God. So each one of us is God. There is nothing but wall-to-wall God. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I think I should probably just leave it there. So I may have, sort of more controversial ideas rather than structured ideas, but I come from a place of inclusion and looking beyond physical things, looking beyond. And I recently had a course in cosmology. I'll close with this. And I thought it was going to be fairly simple, but it turns out that people who study the universe and where things come from, like the Hadron Collider and where particles smash into stuff, because of that research and the way things function in present time and light coming at us and all of what's going on that they can measure with satellites and probes going to, and these telescopes in space and on mountaintops, they know tremendous amounts about the universe and how it functions. And it fits mathematics that has been developed for that. And all of that, of course, is God. One of the topics they don't want to talk about so much, and some of them do, is, well, is there a God that created all of this for human beings then to discover and appreciate? So God is completely inclusive, and this is this magnificent of all this radiation and heat transfer bouncing around and thought and love, and it's just fabulous, so you can see as much and go as much as far as you want to. So with that, yeah, mahalo, thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And so far, so good. Each and every one of our speakers have been on point, 10 minutes. It shows our discipline and it shows our attention to details. So thank you, Thomas, very much for your point of view and your wonderful discussion. And without taking too much time, I'm sure at the end of the segment, Musa and I will definitely have some comments to make. We'll go to Helge. This is his child. This topic is his child, and I'm sure he has so much passion towards it. So let's welcome Helge to tell us what he has in mind and his own point of view. Thank you, Helge.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening. Good day, everyone. Thank you for this meeting. I'm very charmed that I have a voice here, and I feel very charmed that you are coming to this topic. Now, some words about my person. I'm from Germany. I worked as an engineer and gave up in 2007 my job to become a web programmer and later to become a teacher. And being 50 years old, I made my papers to become a teacher. And I'm teaching now pupils who are coming from jail and who have taken drugs. And so to give a little bit an answer why I was thinking about this spirituality, Samuel asked me last week, why did you do it? And I gave him another answer, but I remember there was a definite answer. There was a definite reason why I was asking for this topic. We live in Germany here, mostly brain orientated, and everything is being decided by the brain, and not so many things are decided by the heart. And so last year in summer, when the new year of school was beginning, they asked me, Helge, can you teach physics? And I said, why not? I studied physics for 5 years and it is my passion, but they never asked me to do this. So let's give it a try. And I studied some books and some school books, and I was beginning to teach 1 to 3 weeks. And what I got to know is when I was teaching physics to the young people, and these equations and how it was described in our school books, I was beginning to feel ill. And I was wondering about these bad feelings. And then I was invited to a birthday party of my sister on 1st of October, and I met another physics teacher who is in the same age and who, as like me, decided to become a teacher when she was aged, and she was teaching physics, and she said she was feeling ill as well, and she was even meeting the doctor, and for half a year, for 1 year, she's ill now, and she knows it is because of the teaching of physics, but she does not know why. And I asked myself, what is going wrong? Because teaching children should be a joy, you know. It should should build up yourself, because they give you joy always, normally. And in the end, as we are a school, a special school, and we are talking openly. We have with open mind, open hearts, and we treat each other with appreciation. And this means that I ask the pupils also to treat me with appreciation and accept my faults and so on. This is the way we are teaching those special clients, you know, this kind of pupils who come from jail and who have to deal with drugs and want to start a new life. And I asked my class, I said, I have to give up. I'm feeling bad. And I know it is not because of you. I know it is because of this theme. Teaching physics makes me ill, but I have to do it. And I asked my pupils, my class, what can we do? What can you tell me? What is your meaning? What is your opinion about this? And of course, the first child, the first kid raised hand and said, let's go to the parking, into the park or into the wood and hear some music, and we all will feel better soon. And I said, I can't do it because we have to do our testimonials in 1 year, and I can't do it. But if anybody has another question, let's give it 5 minutes again to talk about. Why do we feel bad doing physics? And one guy in the edge, in the last table behind in the edge, raised hand, and he said, I have a question. And I said, okay, say the question. We have 5 minutes. And he said, who made these physical laws? And I said, oh, wow, thank you for this question. This is the very question. I have to say, I studied physics for 5 years at the university, and I know the scientists did not they discovered the laws, the physical laws of this material world, but they haven't made them. They just discovered them. But if ever anybody has made these physical laws, I think he created this room, this space and time between our birth and death for our senses, to give room and space and time for our soul to mature. I hope this is the right word, to mature, and for our hearts to grow in love. And if we take this opportunity, I think he will love us much. And I tried to remember what they asked me then. And they said, I remember well what they said. They said, oh, please, can you repeat this once more? I said, okay, I will repeat it. I think if ever somebody created all these physical laws, he did it because he wanted to create a space and a room for our souls to mature and for our heart to grow in love. And from that moment, the eyes were open, and we were doing physics then. We were talking about equations, I said I will show you some simple experiments that your senses will be treated, and that you will discover that the laws are really miraculous, and this world has a lot of secrets to uncover. And the next Monday, all the pupils were returning, which is not common in our school, because they are all special kids, you know. So I was thinking about laicite, and of course, as a teacher, I'm thinking about teaching pupils and what it means, what the freedom of spirituality and laicite does mean for the development of young people. And to give it a little bit a historic background of the actual politics and the debate in Europe. France installed in 1917, this was after the First World War, as a child of the French Revolution, France installed laicite in their laws. Laicismus means that the religion is not being driven openly in the government or in schools. So in practice, it means if a child in school is wearing something like a cross around the neck or a t-shirt telling Islam or something, they are not allowed to do this. So somebody should turn off his microphone for the moment. Thank you. Hello, Christella? Christella? Okay. Now, at the same time, now, why did France do this laicite? They created this laicite because the clerus in Rome seemed to. Oh, this is too loud. There's somebody.
Mr. Coco. Mr. Coco.
Mike.
Coco.
The person Coco iPhone.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, take your microphone off.
Yeah.
Mute it.
Please mute your microphone. Okay. Now, laicite. Laicite has been created in France.
Connect. Musa, please, can you mute his mic for him?
Okay, done.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Laicite, it has been created because in France, they were scared for the Vatican and the clerus in Rome, which is a neighbor of France in Italy. It seemed they tried to take over the worlds like Trump. You know, it seemed that the clerus wanted to take over the power over the government, and to make a division between the government and the religion, they created laicite. But this means also that in France, children are not allowed to wear any kinds of religious objects on their body. So, for example, if a little child, if a little girl has an heritage, a necklace with a cross from her grandmother, and she wears it, and her grandmother dies, and then the teacher says to her, you are not allowed to wear this religious object in school. Maybe if this is not communicated well, later when this girl grows, she will become, she will find open doors in extremist religious communions. And then she will say, oh no, I have been shown what it means to kill my soul by the society. Now I will show the society what it means to be killed my soul. And then she's an extremist. And this happens in Germany too, but in Germany, this development of laws has taken another direction. At the same time, after First World War, when laïcité was created in France, the Weimar Republic was founded, and they created some articles about freedom of religion. Nobody should be have a disadvantage because of his religious orientation. This is a fundamental law. And after the Second World War, all articles, after the Second World War, the new German Republic was created, and they created all articles from scratch new. And Germany had been burned down. Everything had to be built up from scratch newly. But all articles from the Weimar Republic about religion were taken over, and they did not even dare to change the numbers. So we have for article 141, 142, 143, we have two versions. The one version is the Weimar Republic telling about religious freedom. And we have the same article that is belonging to the new articles of the German Republic. Because they said, this is a sanctuary, and we don't even dare to change the numbers of these laws, because these laws are the sanctuary of our constitution of our republic. And when I learned this gave me some answers to why the German democracy is taken as an image all over. When I talk to South African people, when I talk to other people from the world, they said the German democracy is an image for everyone. And I said, why? But when I learned about these articles, I did understand the difference. And this is a debate in Europe. How can we create a common Europe if there's laïcité does not allow a religious symbol in school? But the Germans said, no, you have to do an open debate and a public debate about religion so people become mature and able to deal with the challenges of their lives. And this is what I'm concerned about, because now with terror attacks and newer terror attacks, just this year in France, the laicist articles have been taken more narrow. So the pupils are even less allowed. They are not allowed to talk even about religion. I asked Yakuba Rama, who studies in Lille, and he's told me, yes, you're true. He asked the professor that he can make a seminar about religion, and they said, no, that's not possible on this university. That's not possible in France. And he didn't understand, but now he understands after I explained to him what is the meaning of laïcité in France. So as Africa is waking up now, the African soul is a very spiritual one. I don't think in Europe people will change their laws because they are fed and they are as long as the wealth won't change, people won't change anything. But as Africa wants to become self-independent, and they are already very self-dependent, just 1st of January, the African community created a free trade room, a free room of trade. So you don't have to stop your car if you cross the frontier from one African country to the next country. And this is a big, big effort. I hope this will increase the African economy very much. But even the economy cannot exist without a spiritual fundament. So what I have in my head is now this year is the opportunity for Africa to think about what means spirituality for the society and for the trade and for the future and for the maturity of the people and of their children when they grow up to make their life in future. And I think this is a very, very topic to think about, because if Africans just copy the images of France, for example, and they don't take a clear look on laïcité, if this fits to the African soul, this can be maybe one of those problems that African will have in future or has already, because we can see burning churches, we can see burning mosques, we can see in India as well burning temples, and all this is a sign that people are not mature, and there's no open debate, an open, public, and mature debate about spirituality really happening. And this is my concern for this world. And if you just ask Wikipedia for laïcité, you find a lot of countries who practice laïcité, and this asks a lot of questions, you know. Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for giving me time. And again, I hope this was not too much time. Thank you very much, Geminis.
You're very much welcome, Helge. And to everyone who is just joining us right now, you're welcome. Helge was or is our third, and I'm sure certainly the last panelist, because we have Victoria, who's she's not available. Fatou Zongo is not available. I'm sure Burietu, Dominic, he too is not available. But so far, so good. What we've learned from Coach Samuel, from Thomas, and from Helge, those are all wonderful points of views. And the good thing about Amistad is that all of us are coming from different backgrounds. We have Christians here, we have Muslims, we have people who are generalists, we have people who just believe in the supernatural, we have people who are atheists, and society can only function if there's inclusion. If we learn to accept each and everyone's differences to move on. Now, it can be strange because I'm a pastor. I've been trained as a pastor for 5 years. But the training I got is different from the belief system that I have developed for myself. And some of that too has been influenced by Coach Samuel, which I don't think he might know, but for the few times that I've been with him in Cameroon, there are so many things I learned about him, or I learned from him. So I'll just take some few minutes to just say something. Anyway, I'm a panelist too, like Musa said. Okay, from the topic that Helge proposed, which we have been discussing, it's all about spirituality and society. And the sub-question he asked was that, what does spirituality mean to the society? Now, what it might mean to me as an African may not be the same as to a European or to an American. But like I said in the beginning, that we humans are all spiritual beings. We are all seeking for something that's greater and higher than us. Sometimes some of us may cling to science, some cling to belief systems. At the end of the day, we are all looking for something that is bigger and higher than us. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're a Hinduist, at the end of the day, we are all looking for something that's greater than us. So if we go to Webster's dictionary to understand the meaning of spirituality, it says concern with things of the spirit. So it did not specify what spirit. To Christian, we talk about the Holy Spirit. We still talk about evil spirits. So it doesn't define which direction the spirit is trying to talk about. But to my point of view, to my own idea, or the spirituality in the context of an African and as a pastor, is that spirituality has taken us Africans to a point where our rational thinking has been clouded, where we believe more and work less. Forget to know that there should be a balance in believing and in working. I say so because sometimes we pastors, we tend to teach the people to believe and not work. That is not what we should teach the people. So it's all about saying amen and sitting at home. So you find that in Africa, you have most people who are very spiritual, but very poor. So they are spiritual giants, but financially they are nowhere to be counted, because while we pray more and we act less. Now, I usually tell the people around me that if you check somebody like, let's say, Bill Gates, he's not a Christian, but he's a spiritual person too. But these are people who rule the systems of the world. How do they do it? Because they are able to develop their critical mindset to think things through, to think about solving the problems of the world rather than sitting back and just praying for the problems of the world. Prayer is good, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. Prayer is good. But at the end of the day, the world is not looking for people who are prayerful only. It's looking for people who can solve the problems of the world. And that's something we all have to take into consideration. First of all, God is an inclusive being. God does not exclude. God made all of us, so he welcomes all of us. It doesn't matter your manner of worship or your relationship with him. All that matters is that how does your spirituality influence the development of your society? I thank God for Amistad, and I thank God for Musa for this initiative, because it's bringing each and everyone together. We are learning something from one another, which will also help us to develop our own thought process and also help our own various communities. And that's the good thing about Amistad. So I'll just say something very, very short, that God is all about inclusion. He made all of us, and our relationship with him cannot all be the same. Society can only function in harmony when we all accept the fact that despite our differences in how we approach spirituality, we are all created equal. I love something that Coach Samuel said. He said, I am because we are creatures of the same God. I may disagree with Hege, I may disagree with Thomas, I may disagree with Habib, I may disagree with Diara, but at the end of the day, we should all disagree to agree, because the reason why we are on earth is to make it a better place. The way we see the world today is not the same way we should live it to our children tomorrow. So in as much as we are spiritual beings, but you don't develop a society by prayer alone. Like I said, it doesn't matter your religion or your background you're coming from. It's all about taking your belief system, building the moral laws of your society, being part of that moral construct, but yet having the mind that our society can only function if you take the positives of our spirituality and bring it into our development, where we don't just sit and say something will fall from the skies, but we'll make the things fall from the skies. The airplane that we have today, that people travel from one continent to another, it didn't come by somebody sitting and just praying and fasting. It came by somebody believing in the superior being and receiving insights from that superior being to sit and create that, okay, if birds can fly, then I think I can create an engine that can make us fly. And today, the world has become a global village. But the thing is that sometimes we take our spirituality to an extent where we either kill the society. I say this as a pastor, because that is what sometimes we preach to the people that come under us. Because at the end of the day, we are using spirituality to keep the society in bondage, not to give them freedom, not to give them the free mind to think, but to make them to think that we that say, okay, we are of God, we have the superior or upper hand. We control things. No, we don't control things. We are there to be shepherds. It doesn't matter your system of belief. Each and every one is called to be a shepherd. Shepherd means there are things you should do to lead others. I believe within me that where Amistad is going to will be something that others will come to ask Amistad, that how did you people start? What makes you all united in the same common goal? Yes, we are all spiritual, we are all different, but that's the strength of us in our society. Imagine I'm sure Musa is a Muslim, definitely. I'm a Christian and I'm a pastor, but I'm in this same group with each and every one of us. He didn't say because I'm a pastor that I don't belong. And I didn't say because he's a Muslim and I cannot be part of this belief system or the Amistad. That's the mindset we should all take away and realize that whether you're Muslim or you're a Christian, whether you're a Buddhist or you're a Hinduist, whether you're an atheist or an agnostic, what matters is that we need to function in harmony. We need to accept each and every one of us for our society to move forward. I don't want to speak like a pastor because sometimes you can give us 10 minutes and we'll take 10 hours. So Musa, thank you very much. And I believe each and every one of us here has something to say, which Musa can permit us to all have maybe a question to give to any of the panelists or a contribution that you may have. Thank you very much for your patience and God bless you, inshallah. Thank you. Musa, you're muted.
Are there any questions?
Musa is muted.
Good. So this was a wonderful, wonderful contribution from each of you, and we are glad to be here. We are very glad to be here. And like the moderator said at the very beginning of the discussion, after the intervention of the panelists, we will definitely have questions from people of contribution from the participant. So if somebody has a question or a contribution to give, you can do that now. But I think Thomas has already raised his hand.
Hello? That was clapping. That was clapping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was clapping. Good. So thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. And I was learning, I was listening carefully, and the message was so deep that, I really learned. And thanks, Lord, that, Elge brought this wonderful topic. So if you guys have any question to the panelists, you have the floor now.
Okay. Good evening.
Yeah, so you say your name and you say where you're from.
My name is Coco Bruno. I'm from Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. And for this topic, I'm very glad to give my point of view. I think we have two parts. We have the earth, and at the other side, we have God. And the human being is between the earth and the creator. And we know that we need God to exist. We need God to realize our project. In this case, we must have spirituality like a means which leads us to God. And this spirituality become an elevator which lifts us to God and which allow God to come down to visit us. So in this case, we have the spirituality like a medicine, something which allow us to be healthy, to heal our soul, because at the end, we must return to the Creator. And I believe that we need to live in a certain condition like the Creator wants. So we use spirituality to communicate, to stay in contact with our Creator. So I think spirituality might not be a something which makes trouble, because it's something which helps human being to grow, to be healthy. It's something good. But because of sharing interest, we use it wrongly. And today, we think that there is many confusions when we going to practice spirituality. We use it to fight. We use it to be every time in conflict. That's not good. Someone said the world is today a big village, and I think the world is smaller than a village because of globalization, because of a network we have to, like what we are doing by this channel. I can stay in Cote d'Ivoire to speak with someone in Germany. That's grateful. That's amazing. So we have to use spirituality to create a new world, a peaceful world, to be together, to stay together, because it's the same. We have the same objective. That objective is to live, to love each other. It helps us to be healthy. Someone who is always unhappy, he could not live for a long time, because joy is something which allows human beings to stay healthy, to live a long time. So to be short, I'm going to say I'm very happy to take part at this meeting, and I think I will be inside for the next part of this kind of meeting. I like the topic, and thank you. I'm going to wish you the best year 2021. Goodbye.
Yes, that was wonderful. This is Coco, Mr. Coco from Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan. So thank you for your contribution. Is there anybody who wants to give another contribution or want to ask a question to one of the panelists? Mrs. Gaba, Sandrine, and then after we will have Marlene Goy. Yes. You are muted, Mrs. Gaba.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Sandrine Gaba from Cote d'Ivoire. I want to thank the different panelists for the intervention. I just want to give a little contribution, because all things are already give by the panelists, but I want to give my little contribution. What I can say is that spirituality and society cannot be separated, because all the law are the origin from spirituality. If I take the definition Mr. Ediage gave, spirituality take us to think about the spirit, something which and someone or something we don't see, but we believe on it. And if we take all the religion, we have a main point, which is love, respect, how to respect the nature, how to respect each other, and so on. And if we take, for example, in the Christian, we have the 10 recommendation, which can tell us to not, for example, to not lie, to not to how to tell it, to not steal money, and so on. So it permits us to live in a good harmony each other. We have to. So I think that spirituality cannot be separate to the society, because it permits society to be good, spirituality can permit our life to be good. Because if we respect the different recommendation of the spiritual or of God, normally the word can go very goodly. I think so. What is my contribution to say that we cannot separate spirituality to society if we want to have a good word? Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So thank you, Mrs. Gaba, for this wonderful contribution. I just wanted to mention to say that Mrs. Gaba is one of the Cote d'Ivoire Amistad members. So she is officially member of Amistad in Cote d'Ivoire. And to those who have not yet officially been registered, in Cote d'Ivoire, I wanted to remind you guys, be connected to us, okay? Because things are going to be moving very fast from now. Good. So with no transition, we have Miss Goi and Mr. Kuyate, but we'll take first Miss Goi for her question or contribution.
Hello, my name is Miss Goi. I'm from Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, and it's my first participation for this meeting. So I hope to everybody Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to everyone, and have money, have money. So I've listened to all the participants, the first and the last. What I can say about this topic is the spirituality cannot be removed, cannot be separate from the society, because spirit is the first part of the human being that leads person in the society. If you are bad mind as spirit, you cannot be a good person in society. So maybe if you are Muslim, you are Christian, and whatever religion you have, if your spiritual is not good, you cannot be a good person in the society. Is that my point of view? And concerning the fact that people like use spiritual things to put the others under the authorities, is what's happening in the world now. So we are commended by this person who use spiritual things to put on, there's such a pressure under those who are very weak in their spirit. So what we can do is to learn, is to train those weak person to outuse our spiritual to be a good person in the society. Means what is my point of view, is my little contribution about this topic. Thank you.
Very good, very good. So I will have two more people to introduce, and my colleague, Pastor Gabinez, is going to continue with the rest of the questions. So we have now, after the intervention of Ms. Goi, Mr. Kuyate. Please, could you introduce yourself and say if it is a contribution or a question?
Thank you, Mr. Kone. My name is Kuyate Ali Banya from Abidjan. So I'm glad to be here. I'm very grateful to be here with you. It is just a question. When we look at religions, even it is Christian religion or Islam, we can notice that religion teaches us the best education. But now in our society, with with the globalization on the technology and all these kind of things, we can remark that the spirituality seems to be something very hard. Now people base their education in other things and they think that religion is something very, very old. That we are nowadays we don't have to be spiritual. We have to be they put in advanced uh, leadership and personal development and all of those things. So that's the question. How can we explain that this kind of things? How can we explain that situation? It's just my question. Thank you.
Good. Maybe to summarize the question is asking, as we notice, we have globalization, we have things that people are more focused than on spirituality right now. Most
You think that spirituality is something very old.
Yeah.
In my point of view, I think that we have to put globalization, technology with the spirituality to be in peace and to have a better world in which we can live. So that's my question. So how can we explain that situation?
Okay, so maybe you can summarize this into one short question. How can we deal with that with which situation?
The situation in which people think that spirituality don't have its place in our world, in our today world.
Okay, so I think Helge understands, and everybody understands now. Yes. So Helge.
Yes, thank you for this question. This is a very point of maybe why I have put this topic to the beginning of this year, because this is a misunderstanding, as I think that people see things growing and then they say, no, we are busy in this material world and we don't need any spirituality anymore. And this is a complete misunderstanding, and people. What I had in my head today when preparing for this debate, I was thinking about if a materialist forgets that he is being born and that he will die sometime, he gets out of his mind the really essential things in his life. And in the same way, if somebody who is a spiritualist, if he is an imam or a pastor or theologic professor, if he forgets that he is being born sometime and he will die sometime, in the same way, he will become an extremist. So we have to consider that our life is limited, and we are limited as humans, and that we have to pay our attention to this effect. So we are dealing day by day with this problem, and in history, maybe if we take the image from Europe and history, because we are dealing with those technologic discoveries for a longer time. We had the First World War, we had the Second World War, and also in 1920, some scientists said some lives don't matter, The scientists said there are some races who do not matter. This was not an idea in origin only of Hitler. This was an idea of scientists. I read this just some days before about history, and they did not consider what this debate about theology does not mean anything if you are a scientist and if you discover the material laws. This is from the table after Einstein has said relativity theory tells even if you go with speed of light, the time does not matter anymore. And then everything is from the table, because after this we find only God. And this is also a philosophic question. I was asked by a pupil lastly, do blind people dream in colors? Just a simple question. Do blind people dream in colors? Is this possible or not? He asked me this. It is a question of a pupil to me. You can give the answer to yourself. And if anybody wants to tell you that spirituality does not matter in life, ask him this one simple question. It is not from me. Okay.
Very good. So, Mr. Kuyate. Mr. Kuyate?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Good. I hope this answer, responds.
Yeah, yeah, of
question.
course, of course. I'm very satisfied.
Thank you. Thank you, Elge, for bringing an answer to this question. Thank you. So we have Diara. Diara who also wanted to ask who wanted to speak. But I wanted to mention that normally these debates will last 2 hours, and we are almost, at the end. I mean, it remains 30 minutes, so we only have 30 minutes to wrap up. And if somebody really want to speak, this is the moment. So, Diarasuba.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, everybody. So I would like to wish you a blissful years. Okay. Thanks for the previous intervention. To my mind, uh, spirituality, it can be separate from the religion. Okay. If you can imagine a society without spirituality. Okay. If you if you are not spirituality in society, uh, the people can do have a bad behavior in society. Okay. And moreover, I would like to add something. Okay. Spirituality don't show us how to walk the advantage. Okay. So would like the imams and pastor have to learn to our believer how to walk the okay. I would like to be short. This is my intervention. Thanks.
So Mr. Jarasua was saying that we have to learn how to work instead of focusing 100% on spirituality. This is his opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. So that being said,
Yeah.
I will leave the rest of the question to Gemines.
Okay, thank you very much. I think
Habib raised
has
his
something
hand,
to say.
please.
Yes, Habib has something to say. So go ahead, Habib. Your mic is muted.
Is it good now? Good evening, everybody. I'm Habib Doumbia from Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, and I'm very happy to take part at this panel. Yes, and you know that for this topic, we are talking about spirituality and society, and how people can define the spirituality. And I just have a question to Mr. Jimenez, and my question will, before asking this question, I want to focus myself and the definition Mr. Jimenez gave. He was saying that spirituality, you have to focus on the spirit, the notion of spirit. That means that you can find the good spirit and you can find the bad spirit. At this moment, I can say that the spirituality is not the matter of God, because God can have the bad spirit. And talking about the spirituality, you have to focus on both aspects, good spirit and bad spirit. Even those who live with the devil, they have the, let's say, they believe in something. For those who don't believe in the devil can say that this is the bad spirit. And for them, for those who believe in the God, or you can say Christian or other religion, can say that they have in the good spirit. And for those who believe in the devil can say that this is the bad spirit. And now, if you want, spirit can be helpful for the development of our society. How can we do it if we don't have the same, let's say, opinion about spirit, or you don't have in the same path? Because in our world, you can find those who have the adept of the devil. Yes, and they're happy to be in this path. And as Mr. Coco was saying, the spirit is not the matter of trouble, but you can notice that the spirit can be the matter of trouble because you don't have the same opinion about the spirit. And just if I want to remind my question, how can spirit in this context be helpful for the development of our society?
Oh, that's a very nice question. I don't know if Coach Samuel want to answer that question. Your mic is muted. Coach Samuel, your mic is muted.
Okay. Am I unmuted now? Hello?
You're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And Brother Habib, no, was that Brother Diala or Habib?
Habib.
Okay. Brother Habib, spirituality, like we have all been saying, is an aspect of life. Every living thing has that spirituality. And like I said earlier, if we really try to use critical thinking skills to understand and appreciate what spirituality is, then we can harvest the synergy out of that spirituality. Hopefully all of us will really advocate spirituality in every aspect of our life, with our creativity, of our uniqueness, like these fingers, they are very different, but they are very functional. The interconnectivity that spirituality brings to life itself, and the fact that faith with work, like Pastor Jimenez was emphasizing, a lot of Africans, they can go to church and pray all day. They can go to mosque and pray. They can fast and all that things, but they are not doing the other aspect. Faith without works is nothing. You have to create a balance between your faith and your actions. Moving together to a promised life and land in peace, love, prosperity, and contentment. There are a lot of us who, no matter how far we go in life, we are not content. We still want more. And, money is so funny. The more you get money, the more you want it. And the little money you have, sometimes you want more. So you will do anything to get it without paying reverence to your spirituality. If you don't mind, I sent a note. I have a friend here from Ethiopia. He works with me with the COVID task force in Memphis. I just want to, he's a Muslim. I like Faisal Muhammad to just make a comment. Yeah. So
yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, guys. Let me start by saying Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon every member of the panelists. Brother Samuel is a senior brother. Is the one we just met within this division. And I really enjoyed you guys actually harvesting, disseminating the importance of spirituality. Spirituality, I just wanted to comment, is it should be a core foundation that we need to learn every aspect of our life in order to have a healthy community. And hopefully down the road, I will be heavily engaged, and I will hear more from Brother Samuel, and we'll reach out, and then I will be involved in this conversation as we move forward. Thank you very much, guys.
Wow.
Okay. The COVID brought me to the paths with Faisal. And he's a Muslim, I'm a Christian. But I have grown up to see that Christianity has been misrepresented, just like spirituality, and even when I work with Jamnes in Cameroon, I see we spend so much time on the theory instead of the practice. Just look at your body, look at what your hand does, look at what your ears do, look at what your eyes do. Your both eyes look, they see the same thing, but they won't see themselves. It's a spiritual force that happens. So believe me, the spirit is in you. You have to just think about it, critically assess it, and see how can you harvest the synergy of that spirit so that there will be peace, there will be tranquility, there will be contentment, there will be respect for each other. Look at what's going on in Abidjan. Look at what's going on in Cameroon. Northwest, Southwest, we're killing each other. Look at what's going on in America. Somebody sent a video to me and said, look at what you guys are doing in America. I said, don't look at America. Look at what's going on in Ghana. Look at what's going on in Uganda. The young people want to make changes now. You've been in power for 34 years, 37 years. Hey, give me a break. Okay? And Musa, don't forget now, President Obama conceived Yale, and I hope some of you will read his book, the most recent book that Obama has written, A Promised Land. America is a promised land. Some people believe that in God we trust. On their dollar, every dollar says in God we trust, but not every American believes in God. But at least that spiritual force propelled this country to be one of the greatest countries in the world. Helge, you know the history in Germany. You know how much hatred existed. So let's really be honest and realistic. Our spirituality must help us to be of love, of friendship and love and support to each other. Mutual respect. Let's value the uniqueness in each one of us. Thank you again. God bless.
Yes, Helge?
Yes, I want to, I didn't hear each sentence from Habib. Thank you, but thank you very much for your contribution. And I heard this with something like the division between bad and good, and bad spirits and good spirits, and bad gods and good gods. Did I understand you right? Maybe you can make like this.
Okay, thank you. Can I remind my question, please? Okay.
Okay, can you explain it to me?
Okay, thank you very much. According to me, when you talk about the spirit, you have two aspects. You can talk about the good spirituality and the bad spirituality. And according, there is the kind of fight between both. And for me, if you want spirituality be for the development of the society, for me, you have to talk about the good spirituality, because you can refuse that in our God and our world, you find the bad spirituality too. And there is the kind of conflict between this kind of spirituality in our world. And now, for our panel, you are focusing ourselves on the good spirituality. I mean, after the explanation of Mr. Samuel, I can say that you have to know that in this world, if you can find the good spirituality for the development of our society, you can find too the bad spirituality who work to stop the development of our society. This is why I asking, what can we do to be in the good way, and the good spirituality can be helpful for our society. And don't forget that at the same moment, you can find the bad spirituality who work to let's say, to disturb this peace in our world. I just want us to take to accept these two aspects, to take yes, to consider these two aspects. And you are promoting the good spirituality. I'm sure I'm agree with you for the promotion of the good spirituality, but you have to, if you want, you have for our topic, it can be the good spirituality for the development of our society, but not the spirituality for the development, because in the spirituality you can find the good and the bad spirituality.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me say something, please. I think we have seen in history from my side and from my parents' side, who are not alive anymore, but they gave me a heritage. And the problem, the basic problem, as you have seen, the Second World War and the First World War, is that somebody, a king or anybody, is creating an enemy, an image of an enemy. And they say, I'm the good, and the others are the bad ones. Stand up and remove the bad part of the world. This is what is happening. And the other side is telling the same. And there we can see the insanity of what is happening there. So I think a lot of these problems are, how to say, they are wars that are reflecting something inside of somebody. And there I got to know something some years ago that is called shadow work. Means maybe I have been mistreated as being a child and I can't remember because I was too small to understand it. And my brain has put it away from my conscious. It is only present in my subconscious. I did some courses in hypnosis even, and therefore I got to know myself very well. And I found out there are some dark parts in my heart. And it was not very easy to bring them up to my conscious, because they made me feel like the world will be destroyed if I get my conscious to this very happening in my past. This is called a trauma. And it is a basic movement in the psychological treatment. But not everyone is aware of his traumatic experiences in his life, but everybody has some traumatic experiences. This is true. Someone is losing his wife, or somebody gets to know a traffic accident, or somebody is being mistreated, even by parents who don't know this is mistreatment, then there is a dark part in the heart. And then if you try to fight the devil and you don't know, instead of this, you should do some shadow work on yourself. Then you're making politics maybe, but you don't know the one you are shouting and the one you are calling a bad spirit is the dark part in your own heart, the dark cave maybe that you have hidden in your own heart, and you are not able to talk about it because it's too much to you to bring this up to your conscious. So this is my personal concept to understand these happenings. And if we talk about, for example, if I go to my doctor, my former doctor, he went to retire. Now I have a doctor. She does not like she does not like healers at all. She does not trust any healer, any spiritual healer. So if I tell her I went to this one man and he helped me, and just I need now a recipe for this medication, she said, "Are you crazy to go there?" So I think we have to take all parts. Even voodoo has some meaning, and they can heal, but they have to respect also the doctor who has the medication against pain and so on. And if the muscles are losing, then the pain gets less as well. So everybody, we have to learn that all aspects of our spirituality have to be respected and appreciated. And it is, if I am a soul and I'm born as a Hindu, I have no chance but believing in Hinduistic gods. If I'm born like me as a Christ, I have no chance, but I can believe in my Jesus. If I'm born in an Islamic Republic, I have, as a child, I'm learning that Allah is Allah Akbar. I say Allah Akbar, and this is my belief. So, but I have to learn this. This is why this debate for this world is so very, very essential for this coming year, because we have seen a lot of violence happening because people did not grow to maturity with all these aspects of our spiritual existence. And as we grow to a global community, we have to learn this. This is our heritage. We have to beware of this heritage, of course, and we have to deal with it, and we have to take this challenge for the coming time. I'm very sure this will keep a challenge for everyone. Okay, thank you for this question, Habib.
Thank you too. I really appreciate it.
Could I say something, Musa and Jimenez?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna read quickly from this book. Okay, so he talks about those 7 levels, and each of us is going to be at some level, you know. And I was like, where am I? You know, okay, I'm trying to get to the next level, and I've done those. Okay, that's good. I don't think like that anymore. That's fine. And none of this is, you know, you're good or bad. There's no good or bad. That's the idea of dualism is just, you know, doesn't exist. There's only one thing. Okay, so here we go. Level 1. It's the flight or fight response. You fulfill your life through family, community, a sense of belonging, and material comforts. And some of us are going to be there, okay? The next level, he says, level 2. That's the reactive response, he calls it. You fulfill your life through success, power, influence, status, and other ego satisfactions. Level 3, restful awareness response. You fulfill your life through peace, centeredness, self-acceptance, and inner silence. Level 4, and these are what he calls the 7 levels of fulfillment in response to how to know God. Level 4 is the intuitive response. You fulfill your life through insight, empathy, tolerance, and forgiveness. Level 5, creative response. You fulfill your life through inspiration, expanded creativity in art or science, and unlimited discovery. Level 6, the visionary response. You fulfill your life through reverence, compassion, devoted service, and universal love. The last one, he says, is level 7, sacred response. You fulfill your life through wholeness and unity with the divine. So he goes over these again and again. He has one with miracles. He has one, and he repeats this. So it's he kind of breaks this down. And that way everyone is included and we're all at different places. And none of these are, oh, you're better or not, da, 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 da. It doesn't matter. So it is that idea that Jermaine has said of inclusion. And we can get there or not. That's okay. No, nobody's forcing anybody. I heard a couple comments. In those comments, I heard the word cannot. Society cannot, spirituality and society cannot be separated. Well, yes, they can. And sometimes it's quite useful. Each of us has their own private spirituality, and we must be empathetic and compassionate to those who don't quite see like us. So we gotta cut everybody slack all the time. I took some notes. I heard the word outside, I wrote that it's outside. It's like this idea that spirituality is like a medicine or a tool that's outside. It's not. It comes from inside. You cannot purchase it. You cannot whip it up or get it from someplace by doing certain things. It comes from a recognition that you are divine. And that then when you see or when you start to love yourself, then you can actually love. You can see the beauty when you see the beauty in yourself first. So, okay.
Well, thank you very much, Thomas, for that amazing input. And so far, all the questions, okay. Because someone has something to say.
Yeah, Thomas, could you go over the first 3 again? I have note of the 4, 5, 6, 7. Could you just highlight the first 3 of God's references after fight or flight?
Sure. The first one was fight or flight. You want the level 2?
Yes.
The level 2 is reactive response. He calls that. He says, I turned the page to miracles. I've got to go back to this first one. Sorry, here. Reactive response. You fulfill your life through success, power, influence, status, and other ego satisfactions. Perhaps that's Mr. Trump, for example, or, Level 3 was restful awareness response. And this is a nice one. I like to think I'm here maybe. You fulfill your life through peace, centeredness, self-acceptance, and inner silence. The fourth one is a little bit beyond, and I'd like to go here for me, for myself. That one's the intuitive response. You fulfill your life through insight, empathy, tolerance, and forgiveness. Is that enough?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And just to follow up on that, gentlemen and ladies, when Thomas went through those, I found myself having gone through those stages in life. I remember when I finished graduate school, I wanted to go back to help transform Sierra Leone. I went back, and the way my brothers and sisters treated me, the way the president of Sierra Leone then treated me, the way the guy who was trying to run for parliament in my district tried to really shoot me. They arrested him, he had a gun to shoot me. When I left Sierra Leone, I said, I will never go back to Sierra Leone. That was my reactive response. And it took me several years to just forgive and forget those dreadful moments in Sierra Leone. And I invariably went back. My wife and I had 2 children, and I am forever grateful for going back. From there, went to Liberia, went to Mauritania, went to Cote d'Ivoire, went to Burundi. It gave God revealed so many opportunities to meet people like Kone, people like Jaminez, people like even Helge now. You know, God opens doors if you just let your forgiving, your reactive response be transformed. Let your fight and or flight responses be critically analyzed. Well, why am I running? You know, why? Ask questions. Look for the why in your life. And that spirituality would invariably help you to resolve that, so that you can come to that compassion for one another, for each other, and invariably become unified with the divine, where you don't mind dying then, you go rest in peace. That's why we put that on the grave of those who have fought a good fight. But anyway, thank you very much, Thomas.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure Musa has something to say. We can't get you. Still no.
Muted.
You're unmuted, but still we can't hear you. We still cannot hear you.
Maybe a problem with a microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's okay now. Good. Yeah. So I was saying that it was a real learning session, a real learning moment for me personally, as usual. When I hear people like Coach Samuel, I hear people like every one of you. It's a real learning session. And like Coach Samuel say, and I think this is one of the this is the spirit. This is the African spirit, the spirit of Ubuntu. That clarifies everything, which is I am because you are. So when you are able to take the other person into account in your life, and you are able to put yourself at the place of the people in front, there is less frustration you can be able to make. So and definitely, a society without that, is a difficult society to live. So I think that spirituality is a very broad topic. I participated recently to a conference held by one of my friends, who said that spirituality is even one of the code of success, as Coach Samuel was saying. If the United States is a great country today, it is just because their motto is in God we trust. Okay, if we have greater companies, it's certainly because the people running are really, are concentrated in a spiritual being. Okay, and in that conference, I learned that no matter the spiritual being you believe in, you have to be focused, because when we are not, when we are sleeping, when we are not in control of ourselves, spirituality should be playing its full role. When you are sleeping, anything bad, wrong can happen to you. But when you are spiritually strong, you can avoid those things. Something greater than you can be protecting you. So that's all about spirituality. And if you start a project, a wonderful project, it can be, and you do not believe in a spiritual being, it will be difficult for you to go forward, because even simply the bad thought of people who might not, like the evolution of the project, for example, that simple thought can impact negatively the project. So how are you going to manage if there is no spiritual life, if you don't have a spiritual connection with a spiritual being? So you can start, and then 2-3 months later or 1 year later, your company or your project can collapse. So for you to be protected, you need to be in connection with a spiritual being. So that's why it is important, from that trend, that we need to be strongly connected to God, okay, to a spiritual being, so that we can succeed in our undertakings. And when you do that, and you respect the others, like Coach Samuel said, the spirit of Ubuntu, I am because you are, then you live happy. You live happy. And as he said, when you live happy, you rest in peace. So that's what I wanted to say, to add that to what was already said by Coach Samuel and the others. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Our time is almost up, so we are running up. I don't know if anybody has any final thought before we call it a day and start looking forward to next discussions and future projects.
Does anybody have a new theme for a debate?
Yeah. Maybe I will say something about the plan. I'll just give some thoughts. I wanted to say that we will certainly be, more active this year. But I personally think that this whole spirit of Amistad, has a very strong story. We have been able to share the story of Amistad to every one of us. But as we have some newcomers, I really wanted to notify that this is, an organization that was created, during the COVID, but the whole idea itself comes from, the spirituality and the guidance of Coach Samuel when he was here in Cote d'Ivoire. When he was here in Cote d'Ivoire, he used to gather, some of our friends to his residence, to his house, providing food, providing drinks, and we were always gathered to share, ideas to get together, to communicate, to connect to each other, without any other, idea to create an organization, just because he was willing to give without condition, without expecting anything in return. So long after people were so united, gathered, were in such a spirit that we decided, to turn it into an organization that we called at that time, Amistad Network for African Leaders. Amistad Network for African Leaders. So, of course, that was basically covering the whole Africa, young men, young entrepreneurs, and CEOs, because it was basically those people that Samuel used to gather at his residence for dinners and discussion. So we even had a wonderful project that we implemented. 1 week it was launched, and that was a video about promoting Cote d'Ivoire, and we were able to gather more than $5,000 in a week, because the members were basically CEOs of companies. So we did that, and then Coach Samuel left the country, and we had a president. So when we had this discussion, and then we had to find a name for this project. I told him that it would be a good idea that we give the name Amistad, not Amistad Network for African Leaders, because this time it was more than African people. I mean, including many more people, out of Africa. So to say that all those all this different process was spiritually, morally, psychologically conducted and guided by Coach Samuel. And I wanted to say that somebody who is resilient, who is compassionate, who is willing, to help without expecting anything in return. And I too much appreciate the fact that he is always, engaged 100% in all what we're doing. And this is a new year. I hope that we have more members and that more action, just to uh, say thank him for this whole spirit as we are talking about spirituality.
Okay, Musa, I think we are out of time, exactly on time, by the way. So I think you can do us the honor probably of closing us, and let's be on our way.
Can I just make a comment for
Of
closing?
course, for us to be guided by the spirit of Coach, I will give the floor to Coach to conclude.
Thank you. I want to also just let us pray for our vice president as she recovers. And also, I remember, what's the name of the guy who is living in Arizona?
Jafari.
Jafari, before Jafari left Cote d'Ivoire,
yes,
we had a reception at our house, and he and his musical group performed for us. So it's because of Jafari that I've met Mrs. Fatou Touré, okay? And Ms. Touré is really doing some wonderful things with Jafari and the African music in Arizona. We have to project Africa in more meaningful ways, in diverse ways, than just being, just being passive. Prayers alone without works are not going to work. Let's involve and engage each other. And again, thank you very much, Jamines and Kone, for carrying on the light. It's not by my grace or power, it is by the power of the Holy Spirit that is working through you. Let each one of us embrace that. Let's be objective. Look at it so that nobody is exploiting you. Okay? Let us work for selfless reasons to improve each other because we are of one spirit. God bless you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you all. Wonderful to see everyone. It's a very beautiful experience for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.